key concepts in coding, Scratch mainly. And before he starts off, Chakravarti uncle is going to talk about few things that make the environment lighter, so that you guys can, you know, come out of all the inhibitions and ask questions. And ఏమైనా ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ ఉన్నా, ఏమన్నా వినపడకపోయినా, ఏమైనా కాన్సెప్ట్స్ అర్థం కాకపోయినా, ఎనీ టైమ్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ మీటింగ్, పిల్లలు మీరంతా ఫ్రీగా ఉండి ఏమన్నా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే నేహాల్ని అడగచ్చు, లేదంటే ఎవరినైనా అడగచ్చు. జస్ట్ రైజ్ యువర్ హ్యాండ్ అండ్ దెన్ ఆస్క్ క్వశ్చన్స్. ఇది మీకోసమే. సో టేక్ ఫుల్ అడ్వాంటేజ్. మీకు ఏమన్నా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నా త్రూఅవుట్ ద మీటింగ్ ఎనీ టైమ్ ఆస్క్ క్వశ్చన్స్. విత్ దట్ సెడ్, చక్రవర్తి గారు, మీరు యునో టేక్ ద నెక్స్ట్ స్టెప్ అండి.
Sure, yeah. Thank you, Harish Garu. Hello, everyone. Good morning, all. My name is Chikri Adapa, and today I'm going to talk about icebreaker topic. So, do you guys know what is an icebreaker? Does anyone have any idea what does an icebreaker mean? It's an interactive discussion. Okay, please feel free to talk. Have an idea on the మీకు అసలు ఐస్ బ్రేకర్ అంటే ఏంటి? What does an icebreaker mean? You can say yes or no. You don't have to know the answer. You can just say yes or no. The whole purpose of this session is to have some kind of interaction between you guys and us, right? So మీకు తెలిస్తే మీరు చెప్పండి, లేకపోయినా లేదండి అని చెప్పండి. ఓకే, ఐడియా లేదు కదా? ఓకే, సరే. ఐస్ బ్రేకర్ అంటే ఇట్స్ an activity that is used to help people to get to know each other. So usually these icebreakers are done during the like before the start of the meetings, or classes, or workshops, or any kind of team building activities to make people feel more comfortable. Okay. So I wanted to ask you, why is it called an icebreaker but not a stone breaker? Why do we need to call it as an icebreaker? For everything, there is a meaning behind it, right? So this term, right, icebreaker, like it comes from like ships, right, like large powerful vessels. So those ships are designed to break through the frozen ice to clear the path for other ships, so that other ships can follow behind. So similarly, icebreaker activity, it clears the stiffness or frozenness and makes people feel more comfortable and open, just like how those ships clears the path. Got it? Yes. Okay, perfect. So today's icebreaker topic is like a kajas. So do you guys all know kajas? Yes? I can't hear you guys. You need to speak up a little loud. Do you guys know kajas? Okay. Yeah, somehow like we have some difficulty in the audio, so we're not able to hear you guys clearly. But you can hear me well, right? Yes. Okay. Very good. Okay, very good. So I wanted to hear from you guys, like what are the what type of kajas do you guys know? And then you can tell me like your favorite kaja. So basically, like how many types of kajas are there? Like
He's talking about the famous sweet. Yeah. I could see the question mark faces, but he's talking about the sweet.
మేబీ ఫస్ట్ రో అని వాళ్ళని అడగండి. వాళ్ళు
అది తెలియట్లేదండి, వాళ్ళకి వినబడుతుందా లేదా నాకు
ఓకే,
క్వశ్చన్
ఎల్లో షర్ట్ అబ్బాయి చెప్తాడైతే ఇప్పుడు.
నా ప్రశ్నకి నేనే ప్రశ్న వేసుకుని ఐఎమ్ ఓన్లీ ఆస్కింగ్ మై సెల్ఫ్ అండ్ దెన్ ఆన్సరింగ్ ఇట్ అన్నట్టు కనిపిస్తుంది. లెట్స్ సీ.
ఓకే, ఎల్లో షర్ట్ అబ్బాయి చెప్తాడు ఇప్పుడు కాజా గురించి. You have to introduce yourself and just talk a little bit about what do you know about it.
కాజా తెలుసా నాన్న? వినిపించట్లేదమ్మా. ఓకే, పర్ఫెక్ట్. నీకు ఏ కాజా ఇష్టం? మడత కాజానా, గొట్టం కాజానా, లేకపోతే చిట్టి కాజానా? సూపర్, నాకు కూడా అదే ఇష్టం. సో నువ్వు ఎప్పుడైనా సరే ఎప్పుడైనా కారం కాజా తిన్నావా? నేను ఎప్పుడు తినలేదు, ఎందుకంటే అది ఎప్పుడు చేయరు కాబట్టి. ఫనీ. ఓకే, మీకు అసైన్మెంట్ ఏంటంటే ఒక కాజాకి ఎన్ని క్యాలరీస్ ఉంటాయో చెప్పాలి. ఓకే, సో need to tell, that's the next week's assignment. Okay, how many calories does each kaja has, like, okay, depending on the size, right? Like, okay, so yeah, endama. Can you repeat it so I understand? Oh, you can't hear me? Do you know how many calories does each kaja has? That's the question. No, sir, Emma, I can't hear you. Sir, I tried. Okay, you will try again. Yeah, okay, yeah. So I hope you had some kind of fun. So I just wanted to make you feel comfortable, and please feel free to ask us any kind of questions that you guys have, and then like make it like more interactive, and then enjoy the session. Okay, I am now handing it over to Nihal. Hey, yeah, thank you guys.
Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, Nihal.
Okay. So, on behalf of Atmiya, I will be demonstrating a intro to Scratch. So, my name is Nihal Yaramandi. I'm in 9th grade. I'm from Carroll ISD in Texas, in the US. So, just some quick class rules. Just listen carefully, keep your hands and feet to yourself, follow directions, raise your hand if you have any question, show respect to everyone, and just make sure to do your best. So what is Scratch? Well, Scratch is a programming language made for kids just like you. It was created by MIT to make coding fun, and you can build your own games, stories, and animations. And it's very simple. So I have one question. What video games do you guys play, if any at all? So let me show you something. So on Scratch, you can search for any game. So for example, Pac-Man. So I will play a quick game of Pac-Man. So notice how you can be able to move around and have these little games inside such a simple coding software. And these games were made for kids just like you. For example, you might know maybe Mario 64. So we can go in, and there's even 3D games, and these are like highly advanced, but they're made by kids. Oh. But you can see how there's little games that everyone can make. And behind this game, it's very simple. It's small blocks. So going back, let me show you like a small video.
I was searching for interactive programming language on the internet, and I came across Scratch. As soon as I shared my first project, I got instant feedback, and I was like, okay, I want to continue with this.
I remember my first project was a super simple animation. I'm still actually really proud of my first project. It opened my eyes to the different possibilities that coding can present.
So I've been drawing basically since preschool when I learned how to hold a crayon. I think
Making art with Scratch is different because I can collaborate with other people, make something interactive that other people can use.
There was a song that said, "Happy, happy birthday." I put Scratch in there. It just became an instant hit on the site and inspired so many people to make their own songs and remixes.
Anyone can do anything with my project, and sometimes it's really funny how they change things at the end. It just goes to show like how much you can actually do with all the things you have in Scratch.
When you're looking at other people's projects, you're engaging on such a different level, which really encourages this kind of mindset of seeing yourself and each other as makers of things and not just consumers. I never thought that I could do like the coding part. Like I thought like I have to wait till I'm a grown up and like hire someone to code it for me. But then I was like, hey, I can actually do this myself.
It gets more complex, but once you know the basics, you can add on to your knowledge and move at your own pace.
If you like solving problems, if you like drawing, if you like making music, if you're into anything, Scratch is for you.
So let's learn a little bit about how Scratch looks. So when you first start a project, you will have this screen, and you can see the code button right here. And these are all the different blocks, and these are different types of blocks as well. So you can place these blocks in the code area, and whatever happens in here will be shown on the screen. And then these is a sprite. So a sprite is like a character, and then the stage is the background. Now, don't worry, this may seem a little confusing, but we will practice with this later. So quickly, let me show you how do you get onto Scratch. So I will go to this link and then follow these steps. So let me start with a new tab. So I'll just do https.mit.edu. So https://scratch.mat.edu. Then press enter. So now I have the Scratch screen. So now all I have to do is press the create button. And now I have the same screen. So now I can scroll through this code and look through my sprites and check my stage and pull my character around. So let's go back. So what is Scratch? So the stage is where your character is. So in my Scratch project, this is the stage. And then this is a sprite. The sprite is a character. So for example, let me name my character Cat. So this is my cat, and I can drag my cat around, and we will do more with him later. And then these are pieces of code. So this may seem like a lot, but as you learn more, it'll seem very simple. So let's keep on going. Let's watch a little video.
Hi everyone, I'm Mr. G, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to navigate the Scratch interface if you're brand new to Scratch or just starting to learn how to code. So Scratch is a programming language that has this nice online development environment, or I'll call it the interface, which allows you to code online without having to install anything on your computer, and it just runs in the browser. So it's very nice and easy to get into coding using Scratch. But it's a little bit tricky because you might not know where to go for specific things. So hopefully this video helps you out, and if it does, it would be nice if you subscribe and check out my other videos on Scratch, and leave a comment below if you have any questions. So Scratch is basically made up of three main sections. On the left, we have three tabs: the Code tab, the Costumes tab, and the Sounds tab. Let's focus just on the Code tab for now. So we have this code palette that has all of these different types of blocks. So we have the motion palette, the looks palette, the sound palette, and all of these are different colors. So it kind of gives you an idea when you're reading your code what each block is supposed to do. And each of these blocks is basically a line of code. So what we do is we take our line of code or our blocks from the left side, from the code palette, and drag it over to the middle. So the middle is known as the programming area or scripting area, which you might see some people call it. The middle area is where you take your code, your lines of code, and start putting them together. So start writing code by dragging blocks and modifying any inputs if you want, so that your character does something. So the middle section is the programming area, which controls this area on the right, or specifically in the top right, we have the stage. This entire square is known as the stage, and in the middle of the stage, right now, we just have one character. And this one character is called a sprite. And a sprite is an object that follows any instructions in code that you write for it in the middle programming area. So if I just drag some blocks of code together, I'm literally giving instructions to the computer to follow when it detects certain events. So all of this code will control the sprite in the stage. So the area all the way on the right, you'll notice that there's a little green flag. That actually is like the starting point for most programs. So most people start their programs with one or many events, which are these hat blocks. They look like little hats, that's why they're called hat blocks. And so when the green flag is clicked, my character will start doing exactly what the code tells it to do. So right now the code is telling it to move 10 steps, turn 15 degrees to the right, also meow when I click on the green flag, and if I press the space key, move, let's make that negative 10 steps. So if I was to press the green flag, we'll see those things occurring. And the character moves and turns. Now if I press the space key, the character is going to move 10 steps in the opposite direction. And you can see it, if I press it multiple times, he's going the other way. So the stage is where you see like the effects of all of the code that you've written in the middle programming area. If you'd like to add another sprite to your project, you can hover your mouse or your cursor over the sprite toolbar icon here in the bottom right of the interface. And instead of choosing a sprite, I'm just going to take a random one. So I want Scratch to surprise me. And now we have a bowl of, it looks like fruits. So now you'll notice that the programming area is clear because the fruit bowl has no, actually it's a fruit salad. The fruit salad has no code written to it yet. So if I want to go back to my cat sprite and start coding that again or continue coding, I have to go down to the bottom right and select the sprite 1 area again. But if I want to add code to the fruit salad, then I just select that. So the sprite that's highlighted blue is the one that you're currently working on. And you could also see in the programming area, there's a little picture on the top right that tells you which sprite you're actually coding right now. So if I switch back to sprite 1, you'll see it becomes the cat. Now the last thing I want to mention is that all the way in the bottom right, we have the stage area. And you'll notice that if I highlight the stage, both of the sprites are not highlighted anymore. And now I'm in control of the backdrop for the stage. So I could just take a random backdrop, click surprise, and there we see that now both of our sprites are in this underwater world. So there's one last thing I want to go over before you go. If you have the stage selected, remember in the beginning I mentioned that there were 3 tabs, the code, the costumes, and the sounds tab? If you have your backdrop selected or your stage selected, that middle icon becomes the backdrops icon. And so you can control the different backdrops, add different ones, and change them with code later on in the programming area. But that's just one thing I wanted to mention. Now, if you go back to a sprite, you'll see it becomes costumes again, and each sprite can have multiple costumes or like outfits or looks that it can appear as. And you can program the costumes to change with code. The last thing is the sounds tab, and this is where you can add sounds that your sprites can emit or play at some point in your project. Make sure to go over to the sounds palette and check out the different sound blocks that exist that allow you to manipulate those sounds with code. If you want to start a new project, go over to the File menu and select New. And there you go. Now you have a brand new project. If you learned something from this video, I'd appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up and hit.
So that was just a quick introduction to the Scratch programming interface. So let's make a program. So I will follow these steps, and it might seem like a lot of words, but I'm doing something very, very simple. So first I will go to the motion category. I will take a move 10 steps block, and then I will click and drag and put it into the programming interface. Then this code is within my cat right here. So this is my cat. And when I press move 10 steps, he will move across the screen. And so I can keep on clicking him and he'll keep on moving. and I can change how many steps he moves. So let's say I want him to move 50 steps. When I click it, he will now move. So let me drag him back to the middle. When I go to the Events tab, I can click on this, and whenever I click on the green flag, he will move, and he'll move again. So that's just a quick introduction to the movements. And as you can see, we just went through some quick slides. So now I'm going to go through a different event. So all of these are events that we can choose. So how about when this sprite is clicked? So I will take a turn 15 degrees block, and whenever I click on the sprite, he will turn, or I can change it to negative 60 degrees. And so now he'll turn the other way. And then I can also make his direction to 0 or 100, 180 or 90 degrees. And these will all change the position and the look of our sprite. But we still have this code over here. So when I click the green flag, he'll move in that direction. So let's keep on going. Okay, let's choose a backdrop. So a backdrop is this area right over here. So when you go to a Scratch project, we'll scroll down to right here, choose a backdrop. So let me choose a backdrop. I want a sports backdrop. And then I will pick, how about the soccer goalpost? So now, let me get rid of this piece. So as you can see here, I can just pull and drag, or when I'm connecting it, I wait until the shadow appears. And then when the shadow comes, I can let go and the block will snap to that area. And when I want to delete something, I can just pull it over here and now it's gone. So now that code, when the sprite click, doesn't work anymore and it won't turn. So I now have room to add something else. So let's say I want him to change X by 10. So X is just the left and right, and Y is the up and down position of our sprite. So when I click the sprite, his X will be changed by 10. Let me quickly reset his direction. So now he will move. And if I change his direction to 45 degrees, he will continue moving left and right because that is what we were changing. So let's keep on going. Now we will enter the looks category. So I will follow these steps. So how about I move the move 50 steps here to when the sprite is clicked. So when I click on the sprite, he will move in this direction. And now I'll go to the looks category and then choose this block. Say hello for 2 seconds. So what this means is that if I click him, he will say hello. Now I can also change what he says. So my name is Cat. And I can change how long he says it for. So let's say I want 5 seconds. And now he will say, my name is Cat for 5 seconds, and he will move 50 steps in his direction. What? Okay. Sorry. Okay. Now we'll make a new project. So this one is called Space Top. So how I make a new project is I go to File, and then I click on New. And now I have a new project, which is completely different from the old code. So now, as you can see, there's nothing on my screen anymore. So just a quick refresher, this is the code section. And I have all of these different blocks that I can use to change the sprite. The sprite is a character, and I can also choose more sprites, and we'll get into that later. this is the green button. And it's like playing a video. When I press this button, it'll play the continue button. And when I press the stop button, it'll pause the video, just like how I'm pausing the code. And the stage is just a background. It's like some decoration. So let's get into the space top. So as you can see, I made a new project. Just follow these directions. And I'll delete the cat scratch sprite right now. So I'll go over here and delete him. Delete. So now the scratched cat is no longer there. And I'm going to add a background. So I will go to choose a background and I want a space background. So now I have a space background. How about this one? This is my favorite one. So now I have a background for my scratch sprites to live in. So let me continue. So I'm going to choose a sprite called Pico. So Pico is right here. So I scroll to the bottom right here to choose the sprite. Over here to the search button, click on it. I want the fantasy and Pico will be right there. So click on Pico and now he shows up here. And this is a different sprite to our cat, but that's okay. So now I'm going to put Pico on the left side of the stage. So now I want Pico to do something interesting. So let's go to the looks tab. And let's say I want him to say hello for 2 seconds. Click on it. And now he'll say hello. Let's do the events tab. So now when he is clicked, he will say hello. So in those simple steps, I just made it so that when I click on this sprite, he now says something. And then I can also change what he says to my name is Pico. And how long he says it for. Let's say 4 seconds. There we go. So let's continue. So now we're gonna make Pico play a sound. So sound is something we haven't gone into, but it's basically the same as the code path. So I'm gonna go back to the sprite, to the scratch screen and click onto this button. So there's code, there's costumes and sounds, and I wanna go to a sound. So click on the sounds tab, and now I have the pop sound. This is what the pop sound sounds like. So I can change it and I can copy it. I can make it softer. I can make it louder. I can make it faster. I can make it slower. There's so many different things that you can do here. However, I want a new sound. So I'll go to the bottom to choose a sound, click on this button, and now I have this huge list. So let's go to a space sound because we're in a space background. And let's choose Alien Creek 1. But all of these sound different. So you can choose each of these sounds and choose your favorite one. So I want this one. So now, if I go to the sound tab and then I click play sound Alien Creek 1, which is the sound I picked this one right here. Then after you set that for 4 seconds, he'll play a sound as well. So let me lower the seconds to 1. And so now when I click him, he makes this sound. Let's continue. So I just went through all of this very quickly. So now let's add a new sprite. So let's say I want Pico to have a friend. So let's go to fantasy section and I want Nano. So Nano is this character right here. Now notice how Nano has a completely different coding interface than Nano. Pico has a completely different coding interface than Nano. So when this sprite is clicked, he will follow this code. But when I click nano, it doesn't do anything. But we'll change that, okay? So we'll go over here, and now we're gonna change his design. So what this means is that we can change what he looks like. So what I will do is I will go and click his arm, and I'm going to delete his arm. So I just click this button, went over here, and then, oh, actually we're going to nano B. Okay, so I click here, and I click delete. So Nano has different skins, and I went to his Nano B skin, which is his second skin. And think of these skins as like different positions or like different looks. He has different designs or different clothes. And these are different ways you can change how your character looks. So now I will go to the Nano C part, like right here on this arm. And then I'm going to copy. Then I'll go to Nano B and paste. So now I took the arm from Nano C and I put it on Nano B. It's a little confusing based on how similar these names are, but it's not too difficult once you play around with it. So let's go back to the code area. And the costume is still safe. His hand is still different than it was before. So what I will do is, for example, let's say when the green flag is clicked, or let's just put when the sprite is clicked. So I'll go to looks, and then I will change his costume from one to the other. So first, he will go to Nano A. So let me just quickly delete all of these. So we have Nano A, then I will go to a control, I will wait 1 second, and then I'll move to the next costume. So what this means is that I start off on this costume, I wait 1 second, and then I go to Nano B, this costume. So how this looks like is, notice how his hand changes position. So now I'm gonna work on a new character called Giga. So Giga is going to change color, and this is very, very easy as well. So let me go over here, choose a sprite. Let's go fantasy again, and this is Giga. So now we have a third friend. I'm gonna put him over here. Okay. So now when this sprite is clicked, I'm going to change his color. So I'm going to set the color effect to, let's say 100. And then I'll make him say think. And then he will, there's clear graphics effects. So this is a little weird, but we'll click it and it'll change color, think. And this is what I think looks like. And then he'll clear all of these. So it will revert back to what it looks like before. So if I didn't have this block, it would stay the same color. But when I clear, it will go back to normal. And I can change the color. So let's say I want 200 color. And so now it will change to a slightly different shade, or 150. And it'll change to more purple. And then I can also say, hi, and so now it's thinking, am I Giga for 2 seconds? So I just added Giga, And so basically, that's just a quick rundown of a very simple project. And even though I was explaining everything, it took me maybe 10, 15 minutes just to add these few blocks of code. And so all together, and I click the green button and click on Pico, and he says something and makes a sound. I can click on Nano, and he'll change his position. And then I can click on Giga, and then it'll change its color and think for a second. So that's just like a quick rundown of a very simple project. And you can keep on practicing and playing around, but just remember that as you keep on learning, you'll get better and better, and you can make the games that I was showing you at the beginning. So that's all. Thank you for listening.
Wow, excellent, Nihal. Thank you very much for putting this together.
Good
I
job.
think, yeah, మన kids, Sarada Vidyalayam kids, maybe when you guys create the Pico or cat, when we click, you can probably say your most liking మడత కాజా. ఏ కాజా మీకు ఇష్టం అది పెట్టచ్చేమో మీరు. చేస్తారు కదా మరి అది ప్రాజెక్ట్ చాలా ఈజీగా ఉంటుంది. ఐ థింక్ ఎనీ క్వశ్చన్స్ అమ్మా? ఇప్పుడు నిహాల్ ఆల్మోస్ట్ 15-20 మినిట్స్ కంటిన్యూస్గా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేశాడు కదా, చాలా ఈజీగా ఉంది అది యాక్చువల్లీ. నాకైతే ఫస్ట్ టైం ఐఎమ్ సీయింగ్ దిస్ స్క్రాచ్ అప్లికేషన్, నాకు తెలియదు. బాగా చెప్పాడు తను. సో మీకు ఏమైనా క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉన్నాయా? స్క్రాచ్ ఎలా వాడాలి ఏంటి? ఎవరన్నా ఏమైనా క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉంటే యూ కెన్ రేజ్ యువర్ హ్యాండ్ అండ్ యూ కెన్ కమ్ ఫార్వర్డ్, ముందుకు వచ్చి యూ కెన్ ఆస్క్ యువర్ క్వశ్చన్.
ఒకవేళ మీకు క్వశ్చన్స్ లేకపోయినా సరే ఈ వీక్ లో మీరు ప్రాక్టీస్ చేసి వీటితో నెక్స్ట్ వీక్ అడగండి, లేకపోతే మీకు ఏవైనా క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉంటే. దెన్ యూ విల్ బి ఏబుల్ టు ఆస్క్ మోర్ క్వశ్చన్స్. ఓకేనా? వినిపిస్తుందమ్మా? కెన్ యూ గైస్ హియర్ us? Okay, okay, good. Okay.
It looks like Nihal has something to say. Nihal?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Nihal.
so just for next week, I want you guys to make the project I just made. So I want you to try to make the space talk program, this one right here. I want you to make a project that looks similar to this, but you have to change something. So maybe you can make Pico say, I like pizza. And so now Pico will say, I like pizza. Or maybe you can add another sprite or change the backdrop. But I want you to try and make something that looks like this. And then you can show it to me after. But please make sure to experiment and have fun and just enjoy the process.
థ్యాంక్స్ నిహాల్. ఐ థింక్ కిడ్స్ అందరికీ స్క్రాచ్ అకౌంట్లు అయితే క్రియేట్ చేసి ఉన్నారు అనుకుంటా కదా బిందు గారు? ఐ థింక్ వి ఆల్ హ్యావ్, దే ఆల్ హ్యావ్ ద అకౌంట్స్ కదండి?
యా అనుకుంటండి. శృతి యా, వీళ్ళందరికీ కోడ్ క్లబ్ లాగిన్స్ ఉన్నాయి కదమ్మా? శృతి లాగిన్స్ ఉన్నాయి కదా? యా, కోడ్ క్లబ్ లాగిన్స్ ఉండి స్క్రాచ్ లాగిన్స్ ఉంటే గనక కోడ్ క్లబ్ లో మేము ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్స్ పంపిస్తాము. ఈ స్పేస్ టాక్ అనే దానికి ఎలా నావిగేట్ చేయాలో you can help them to navigate to space talk, okay, and then they can see the instructions there as well, and they can follow the instructions. And at the same time, we are going to send the answer key to your account, So you can help them if they stuck somewhere. And they can do this on Monday morning for 1 hour. సో మేము ఏం చేసామంటే 2 days కింద స్ప్లిట్ చేసామన్నమాట. టుడే ఈజ్ ఎ కాన్సెప్ట్ డే వేర్ నిహాల్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్డ్ ఇట్ వెరీ వెల్. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ ఫర్ దట్ నిహాల్. It's pretty clear actually. We took the feedback from Sarada Vidyalayam and then మేము స్లోగా చెప్పాలని అనుకున్నాము and then Nihal implemented and executed very well. Thank you for that. And ఇంకా నెక్స్ట్ డే వచ్చి దాన్ని ప్రాజెక్ట్ డే అంటాము. They have to sit and open log into their accounts in Code Club and they have to start working on this particular project. And this is called Space Talk project. Okay. Next time, mali manam kalisedappatiki you have to complete the Space Talk project. And if you have any questions, the next vache team inkoka youth volunteer present chestaru, vallu answer chestaru మీ questions. Or otherwise Nihal will be joining as well. We will see. Okay.
Let's see and the first 5 or finish చేసారు చూద్దాం.
Yeah. మీరు చెప్తారా హరీష్ గారు? ఫస్ట్ 5 ఫినిష్ చేస్తే వాళ్ళు ఏం చేయాలి ఏంటి అనేది లాస్ట్ వీక్ మనం ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేసాం. మళ్ళీ మీరు చెప్తారా?
ఓకే. సో ఎవరైతే ముందుగా ఫినిష్ చేస్తారో ఆల్మోస్ట్ 30 కిడ్స్ ఉన్నారు కదా. అవుట్ ఆఫ్ 30 హూ ఎవర్ ఫినిషెస్ ఫస్ట్ 5 కిడ్స్ని తీసుకొని వాళ్ళు ఇఫ్ సమ్ వన్ రన్స్ ఇంటూ ఎన్ ఇష్యూ, ఎవరికైనా ప్రాబ్లం వచ్చినా ఎవరికైనా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నా దే హ్యావ్ టు టీచ్ దెమ్ అదర్ కిడ్స్. సో అలా ఏమంటే మీకు తెలిసింది మీరు మిగతా పిల్లలకు కూడా మీరు నేర్పించవచ్చు. ఆ అవకాశాన్ని మీరు ఉపయోగించుకోండి. ఓకేనమ్మా? సో లెట్స్ సీ ఎవరు ఫస్ట్ 5 ఎవరు ఫినిష్ చేస్తారో చూద్దాము. యూ హ్యావ్ టు ఫినిష్ అండ్ దెన్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు ఎంకరేజ్ అదర్ కిడ్స్ టు ఫినిష్ దట్ టు. సో దట్ అందరం ఒకేసారి నెక్స్ట్ స్టెప్కి వెళ్ళచ్చు. అదర్వైజ్ ఏమవుతుందంటే సమ్ కిడ్స్ విల్ బి యూనో ఇన్ ద లెవెల్ 2కి వెళ్తారు వాళ్ళు, మిగతా కిడ్స్ లెవెల్ 1లో ఉండిపోతారు. వీ డోంట్ వాంట్ దాట్. సో ఆల్ ద కిడ్స్ హ్యావ్ టు ప్రోగ్రెస్ టుగెదర్.
సో ఇంకొకటి ఏంటంటే మీరు ప్రాజెక్ట్ చేస్తారు కదా స్క్రాచ్ లో, నిహాల్ చేసినట్టే మీరు చేస్తారు కదా. వన్స్ యూ వర్క్ ఆన్ ద ప్రాజెక్ట్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు సేవ్ ద ప్రాజెక్ట్, అదర్వైజ్ ఇట్ విల్ గెట్ డిలీటెడ్. ఓకే నిహాల్, do you want to show them how to save the project?
Yeah, I can do that real quick. So let me share my screen. So this is my Scratch project. So what you can do here is press File, Save to your computer, and then it'll just download this. And so now, let's say I'm opening a new project. So press New. And so I have nothing from before, but I can go over here, load from your computer, click on this, open. Okay, and now I have my project again. So you can also rename your project. So it's top. So just again, you go to File, Save to your computer, and then load from your computer. And that's all you have to do to make sure that your progress is saved. Maybe you can also put your name after your project so you know which one is yours. And I think that's all.
సో ఎనీథింగ్ ఎల్స్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు కవర్ అండి? బిందు గారు, శశి గారు, చక్రి గారు.
I think yeah, we are good అనుకుంటున్నానండి. So probably I think kids can start working on this assignment and then they can ask their questions probably in the next session. So next session Friday kadandi? Sorry, on Saturday same time.
Yeah, Saturday same time.
Yeah. Thank you all, guys.
Okay. So thanks everyone for joining. and we'll meet again next week. And all the very best with your first project. Okay, Ma? We'll see you next week then. Thanks, Nihal. Thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you.
Excellent job.
Bindu garu. Thank you, Andy. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye. Have a nice day and good night to you. Safe.
Good night, everyone. Yeah,
Bye.
bye.